I hope that you are having a great day so far and that this presentation won't mess up things for you. And I know that this is a second day of presentation and some of you may be still influenced. So, but the text is very, you don't have much text here, so mostly images, so that should be fine for you. But before we start, please raise your hand how many of you are familiar with the Office series? This one with Michael as a boss, and okay, that's great. Little trivia before we start, I'm a huge Office nerd, so this presentation is packed with memes from the Office. And thank you. And second question, this might be more tricky, especially when you are sitting next to your lead, maybe, but let's try it either way. Raise your hand if you think that your leads know what they are doing. Try be honest. Okay. Less hands in the air this time. Okay. My name is Łukasik. I'm a lead tools technology programmer at Techland. And another trivia about me, this is my first public speaking experience. So just as Michael said once, that I might start sentence and not know when I'll end up with this sentence, or I might stumble here or there. So please be patient. And before we start, I'm a tools programmer for most of my career. Some of you might not be aware what does that mean. To simplify things for you, to create a game, and when you are using your own engine, you need to have some editors where people from the company can create that game. So basically, those editors are handled by tools programmers. So basically, tools team is responsible for maintenance and creation of editors that then the rest company can use to make game. Most of my game dev journey I spent as a tools programmer. I started shortly as a gameplay programmer while I was working at Towards 2 at Reality Pump. And I remember that always when I start working at something or there's some challenge ahead of me, I try to prepare myself. Because if I prepare myself, nothing bad can happen, right? That's what I figured. So what do I do before I join my first company? I read lots of articles. I read interviews with developers, so I can mimic them. So then if I read articles about what great developers do, immediately I'll be a great developer, right? That's logical, right? So I watch making-ofs of different games, how they are made. I read articles, I listen podcasts, and then I join my first professional company. And I remember to this day that my first task for my trial period was to move Quest system from scripts to the engine because of performance reasons. And I got introduced to it briefly and I started working. And I'm coding, moving things around, opening game, everything works. I'm feeling like, whoa, I'm a really great programmer. Everything works, I don't have any problems. So I work more and work more. And after 2 weeks, one of my colleagues, maybe he's here. No, he's not here. He told me about this parameter that you need to use when you are launching the game to decide which Quest system we are using. If it's the old one that was working from scripts, or the new one that I'm currently implementing. And guess what? I was running the old one that's working, not the one that I'm currently implementing. So everything worked. But those 2 weeks, I was feeling like a best programmer in the world, So that was a great feeling. But then I actually had to, fix my bugs and start doing real work. After that, I had a pleasure to be part of the team that opened CG Project's studio here at Krakow to work on The Witcher 3 and both expansions, and then moved to Cyberpunk. And during that time, I was also mostly working on tool side, working on some debug tools for Quest editor, so to simplify things for non-technical people here, if we are testing game and it's stuck somewhere and it's not progressing, characters are not doing what they are supposed to do, then we need to check out what's wrong. And then you are using basically debugging tools to see where the signal is stuck in a quest graph. So basically that was things I was doing. Later on, moving on to editor that we used to work on cinematic stuff for Cyberpunk. And then after that, I moved on to Techland to work on Dying Light 2. But this is when my career shifted, because previously I was dealing with code just by myself, and now I had to switch my mindset to dealing with people who write code for tools. And what I do, obviously, I prepare myself, right? Because if I prepare myself, nothing bad can happen, right? I did that before, and it worked tremendously. So I read books, this time about team building, motivating people, giving feedback, evaluations, conflict resolution. I'm listening leadership podcasts and whatnot to be prepared and ready. And then when it happened, I got those 4 additional letters before my job title that said, now I'm lead. I figured that I know nothing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I read so many books, so many articles, and yet I'm here now, and what should I do right now? You know, should I tell those people what they should do or something, or should I not say them anything? Should I be harsh or something? What should I do? Should I design something, redesign everything, throw away and write everything from scratch? I don't know. So then I started wondering, I need to simplify this for me. So despite the fact that I read so many and I know so little, I need to simplify these things for me. And I need some simple question that I can ask myself that would help direct me, you know. Well, maybe not that simple, but something that could guide me. Some simple sentence that I can use as an anchor, as a first kind of train of thought that I can use in my first leadership days. And as cheesy as it may sound, I remember this quote by Simon Sinek, "Be the leader you wish you had." And this is, by the way, a picture, don't mind my dirty desk in the background, which I have to this day. And this kind of served me and still serves me as a kind of guideline for me. Like, what should I do? If there's a situation I'm not sure what I should do, and it happens a lot, well, maybe less lately, but still it happens, this kind of reminds me. And I know it sounds cheesy and it's very simple, but it kind of helped me in those first days before I gathered, you know, more knowledge and felt more secure. So when I was thinking about topic of this talk, I figured, you know, next week I'm turning 40, so at this point in life I figured, you know, I can share with a bunch of strangers stories about my failures. What could go wrong, right? And about failures, little tip for you. If you want to be speaker on a conference this great as Digital Dragons, please read your emails carefully. You get a lot of emails, and when you register as a speaker, then you should find email that says, "Hey, congrats, you're registered. See you at the Digital Dragons." And then at the bottom of that email, for those who are the same as I am, and we are closing immediately, after reading headline. "Oh, I'm registered." Click close. At the bottom there was a button I was supposed to click to confirm my attendance. What could go wrong, right? So there I was some Monday, and my colleagues from Techland are sharing their hours of their speech. And I'm like, "Oh, right, it's public. I'll check when I have my speech." And I'm searching, and I cannot find myself. Okay, maybe some problems with filter on the website, I filter out by leadership category. I'm searching, and there's nothing. Okay, I filter out by my name, and still nothing. Okay, so what can I do right now? So I decided to panic. I wrote a bunch of people from Techland, a bunch of questions, erratically written, so maybe with lots of grammar mistakes. And then I wrote lots of emails to Digital Dragon's crew, also in panic. But then after some time, they told me, it's all good. You confirmed in past. You just don't remember because you're old. That's true, kind of. And they said that they are publishing it gradually, and it should show up soon. And it did, the same day. So for those of you who want to be professional speakers, and not me, read your emails carefully. So when you join a new company, and basically you're promoted to leadership position, you'll hear the stories that the most difficult thing for you will be when you are working on the same level with your colleagues, or you're programming tools or doing whatever. And then you are promoted. So in structure of a company, you're suddenly above them. And dynamics shift. And you kind of, how do you address someone who used to be your friend for many years and you used to work together, and now you're supposed to lead that person? In my case, it didn't happen because I joined new company, and then I was made lead of tools team. So the situation is also difficult, and it's maybe not a failure, but you don't know the team, they don't know you, they maybe have some long history that you don't know because you weren't there. Maybe they have some office rituals, like Office Olympics, maybe, that I would like to attend, but I wasn't here, unfortunately. Maybe we should organize something, I don't know. And it's really difficult. So this one I won't classify as a failure, but as a challenge that maybe some of you will also face when you switch companies and then become a lead of team, any team, really. Most of my career I spent as a programmer, so I'm used to writing code. And suddenly, this is not the case. So at the beginning, I'm not delegating anything, kind of cheating myself. That I can do both, right? I can attend lots of meetings, I can write lots of documents, and I can still do my tasks, you know? That's simple. I love coding. I can still code, right? What bad can happen? So at the beginning, I was treating everything like, no, this is my quest. You know, we are planning sprints, and I see some interesting tasks, and I'm like, oh, assign it to me. I'll do that. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll do that too. And then, as we are closing sprints, moving to next ones, people are doing their tasks, and my tasks are still in progress or in to-do. So that's when I started kind of waking up from cheating myself and thinking, okay, now I'm the team's bottleneck because everyone is waiting for me. And those tasks are not super complicated. Everyone from my team could do them easily. So I started kind of with pain in my heart, not assigning things to myself. Maybe if this is something super simple that I know I can address in a matter of minutes. Or maybe, on the other hand, this is something really big, like bigger refactor that I can do in background between my meetings, that no one is waiting for right now. I can work on it, and when I'm done, I'm done. So that's a lesson for me. When you're trying to grow your team later, because obviously you cannot do everything by yourself, so you need more people. So how am I supposed to recruit people? And why is this on your resume? That's a question that appeared really frequently. And I never was in this process on the other side. I was recruited before, but I never recruited people myself. So I need to think about something to prepare myself, right? Because if I prepare myself, nothing bad can happen, just like in past. So what do? I read books about recruitment. I read articles. I listen, different podcasts. What should I, search for in CVs of people who send our resumes to us? And at the beginning, I was, able to distinguish that someone is a good programmer, not so bad if someone is experienced or not. But other than that, I had no idea what that person might be doing in our team. I didn't have this imagination that if I hire this person with a given skill set, that person would do great doing X. I was just focusing on technical side. So now I try, it's still difficult and it's still not perfect, but currently I'm trying to imagine that person joining our team and, which editor that person can work on. or which things that person can improve or do for us. So that person have, great fun doing that, and also work is being done. When you hire new employee, that's me, and that's new employee, right? He looks happy. I look happy. So you need to think about some tasks that you need to give to that person on a trial period, right? Because we need to kind of test each other. New employee needs to know that we are thinking ahead when we are doing planning. We are taking our time and assigning tasks appropriate for that person, right? This is also important for us because we need to kind of see if that person is a good fit for us. So at that time, I sat down with my producer back then, and we just grabbed 3 things from backlog that seemed easy, and assigned it to the employee, smiling. I guess he was smiling, well, kind of. And he started working on those tasks, and we are working on it, and we are progressing. But I see after some time that maybe my choice was not the best one. It was way too complicated for someone to start because it needed a deep dive into different systems, and it wasn't so simple as it looked like at the beginning, So now, connected with a recruitment process and thinking ahead of where I see this person in our team, I try to imagine what that person can be doing in our team. And based on that, I'm trying to, with my current producer, which is here, figure out tasks that we need to, what we want to assign to that person. So it makes sense. And that person can feel a sense of accomplishment of something. Those tasks are not super duper difficult. And the job is done. That needs to be done. So those tasks are not like, worth nothing. I remember that once we were working on some debug feature that we needed in our code. And yeah, I was maybe not sitting and flicking my mug like Michael right here. But I remember we stumbled on some problem. And we are programmers, we are smart people. We can do everything, right? So I gave a green light to one person working on this task, and we are working. 1 month went by, and we are still working on it. And we know where we have some problems, but we are programmers, right? We are smart. We can figure this out. We can do this. Okay. After next month, this is where I started thinking, maybe that we need to do something else. And there is other team in our company that could probably help us with this. And obviously, after those 2 months, we decided, we need to delegate this one. We don't know, quite frankly, what we are doing. And guess what? That second team helped us in less than 1 week. And it was done. So right now, even before we start working on something, and it's still not perfect, I'm still failing here or there, I try to assess if there's something when we have some dependence to other teams, that we might wait for someone's help or need someone's help before kind of getting stuck after 1 month and then, okay, let's call for help now, because it's waste of time. We made a really great success by shipping developer tools really quickly after the release of Dying Light 2. So our modders can create their own content, their own maps, their quests. So this was a first tools project of ours that we shipped outside, kind of, because our receiver is mostly people who work at Techland. And now suddenly we have also our clients outside the company, also using our editors, smaller version, but the same toolkit basically. And it went great. We have lots of downloads. People are using it. We had a contest with prizes, and people are really having fun doing those custom maps. And after each finished project, usually what happens is that we write postmortem. Basically, it's a document that lists what went right and what went wrong. At that time, I was thinking, okay, what type of lead I want to be, you know? Who people respect? A harsh lead, badass, you know? Who says what went wrong, you know? Who's tough. Okay. So I went and listed all things that went wrong. Only wrong timing on decisions, changes of concepts, changes of kind of idea, listing everything what went wrong, listing delays, everything. And I remember on some integration party we had at the office, I was speaking with one of my colleagues from the rendering team, and he's asking me, "Whoa, you shipped developer tools, right?" Yeah. And how was it? And I'm like, man, it was brutal, you know. Everything went wrong, you know. I have lists, you know. We have lots of things to improve. Damn it, man. It was difficult, you know. Speaking like a soldier, you know, coming back from war or something. And then he asks, but people are using it? Is it usable? And I said, yeah, they are creating content. There's a contest with prizes and they are submitting their maps, you know. Okay. So there are lots of downloads? Yeah, lots of people are downloading. It's crazy, you know. Okay. So it's usable, people are using it, people are happy. I guess, yeah. So that's a success, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if you put it this way, I guess. So then I started thinking of it more like focusing only on failures, like failure of any kind is failure, like Dwight said. It's not very motivating for people, and you know, we need to celebrate even small successes. And they happen, you know, sometimes more often than those failures. So when you have that team, you recruited new people, you gave them appropriate tasks for a trial period, and then in companies you usually have some evaluation cycle that you do. So you can sit down with everyone from your team, think about goals, areas of improvement, you know, to assess where we are standing. At the beginning, your performance has been adequate. You may leave. Well, I didn't say that. You know, that sounds funny, but you know, I don't have balls to say that to my people. And my first assessments were not so great. The feedback should be kind of and goals that we set for each other should be measurable, you know. So next time we meet again, that we can tell, you know, yo, you improved or you did not improve, or we need to change something. I remember one of my goals that I had for one person was be more active in code reviews. Okay. Now, as I think about it, if I got this kind of goal, what does that mean? You know, be more active. By how many? You know, what's the current number? What's the average? How we can measure if someone is more active? You know, that doesn't make sense. It's kind of stupid when I think about it. But I'm speaking about my failures, so hey. And only after some time, and also at Techland we have different initiatives who help managers who are maybe first to this game and are also learning and failing and trying to get better. Also regarding giving feedback and evaluation, which I prepared before, as you remember, because if I prepare myself, nothing bad can happen, right? But so you don't get a wrong impression that only failures are happening here, and it's, you know, war out here. Sometimes we also win. I remember there's some quote that said, sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. So I hope that I learned a lot. And as Dwight now knows not to cut the face of a real person, you know, after cutting the face of a training CPR dummy, we are also learning and, you know, starting celebrating small wins and doing improvements here or there. At one point, when I was starting to feel a little bit confident, which happened after 3 years, maybe, being lead. Still not sure what I'm doing, but it's better. I wrote a document with Tools Team Vision, which basically didn't dive deep into gory details or technical stuff. It was just to assess what our current problems are and what we want to do about it. Do we have some standard procedures? How do we handle bugs? How do we handle crashes? Do we have some standard routes for these items or no? So each time when they happen, we are not wasting time about thinking about them. We're just following the procedure. That gave us some sense of direction, so we don't drive into the lake. At least I hope I'm not driving into the lake. If I'm, please, someone from my team, tell me. But they are nodding, so I think it's okay. And I discussed this plan with my team, and I tell you, if you sit down with a bunch of programmers, each with their own opinions, very skilled people, very intelligent, you will hear some harsh words sometimes. But after some, talks here and there, we kind of agreed that this is, in general, a good idea, and we should follow up on that idea. So this is where I made some first step, but I need to follow up on this plan. It's still work in progress, but this is something that we want to continue on. We finally have something like maintenance day. Basically, when you work, there's a bunch of stuff that you need to create or fix or provide because it's some new functionality. So we are planning ahead. Okay, this sprint we are focusing on those things. Next sprint we are focusing on something else. But also, as our users are using our editors every day, it's obvious that they will stumble on some weird, inconveniences. That something is flaking somewhere, or something is not working as it should, or something is crashing, or not working as fast as it could. And they report it, and it basically makes this huge pile of, information about bugs and crashes, and that we honestly don't have time to address because we have those big, features to implement. Maintenance day is happening each Monday in our team. This is the day when we are pausing our work on our scheduled tasks and work on things that we can then call our small wins. Little annoyances that maybe don't take much to fix, but now we have some time allocated for that purpose. And then we can share reports to our users. Hey, during this month, we addressed those things. So people can check if this is actually working and fixed. And they can feel that they are listened. They are not reporting bugs to some limbo and it's somewhere. Did you report that bug? Yeah, like 1 year ago. Holy crap. I didn't see that. And then we are trying to make the growth of that pile of requests and bugs grow slower. And actually kind of trying to do something with this instead of waiting because you don't have time. The great thing that you observe after some time spent with your team is that you see how people change. I remember there were some people who at the beginning were naysayers. Like you tell them their idea and they will list you for 5 minutes why it's something wrong and will not work, and that's stupid and you should do it other way. But now after some time, I see that people are kind of opening up. They are not so critical as they used to be. We are still working on it. It's not perfect, but it's getting better after some time passes. We are not doing that, remote work. It's kind of difficult. We are becoming a well-oiled machine with different skills that different person from our team has. It kind of made this synergy in our team, that people are good in their areas and we are kind of helping each other. We are not playing and nobody got hit in the face with the football yet. Maybe this will happen, I don't know. I hope not. People are more engaged. Side note, I need to make a note for myself to buy a inflatable sumo suit. It might come handy. And some people from my team who were responsible for separated areas of code or separated editors that only they were handling, are now being more open about sharing their work. One person from my team came to me, and that person had to make a plan for one feature that we need to implement, and he needed to make a list of actions that we need to do and in which order to progress. And then that person came to me and told me, you know, Łukasz, that may be a great idea to make someone join us on this task. So someone else also knows about my stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is a person who usually works alone, separated on their own topics. And suddenly this person came to me just asking, you know. It wasn't forced by me or something. Hey, you need to share your code with someone. No, that person just came to me and proposed. Like, maybe it's a good idea, so someone can work with me. I can mentor them, I can teach them, introduce to the topic, you know. Great idea, let's do that. But, you know, I'm a programmer. Programmers measure things, you know. We debug stuff, we profile stuff. How do we know that game runs faster? We need to do some measurements, right? Editors the same. So, how do you measure if you are becoming better lead? There's no measure that you can use. It's like, how do you tell? I don't know. At Techland, we have this company-wide survey that's sent out in some cycles to whole company to gather feedback of people, to get information, how happy are we? And I remember that last time I was checking for those results, and then I see that there's a question that I think my manager is competent or something like that. And I see that 100% of my team said, yes, I think my manager is competent. And, you know, I'm my biggest critic. So I can take all the critic, you know. You can tell me everything I messed up, what I'm doing wrong. I can take it, you know, bring it. But if you tell me something nice, nah, you know, you're just being nice, you know. You don't want to hurt me or something, right? So that's not true, probably. There must be something I'm doing wrong, and you are not telling me. So, and still I need to buy this kind of mug for myself. Michael bought it for himself, so I still don't have it yet. I need to buy it for myself. And I'm really glad that I'm working from my home, because at that moment when I saw those results, my eyes went misty a little bit. So, you know, that's not professional. That's not tough lead, you know. So I'm glad that nobody saw, you know, the badass here, you know, almost crying. As I said, I'm old, you know, maybe not Creed old, like old, not that much. But I see that most pressure I put on myself in past was because I was trying to hide that I don't know something, or trying to pretend so nobody finds out that I don't know what I'm doing. Imposter syndrome, you might call it. But I stopped caring a long time ago, like Creed. And the most common sentence I use in my team is, I don't know. People come to me, hey, Łukasz, you know, how the system works? I don't know. I can try to figure out. I can try ask some people. I find some contact points for you. But honestly, I don't know. Hey, Łukasz, we should do this first or that? I don't know. Let me think. Or let's think together, you know? And I feel that each time we have our one-on-one meetings, which I have with each member of my team, I notice that people are not afraid telling me about their struggles. We speak about our job-related stuff. We speak about our private stuff. And I see that people are not afraid telling me that they are, you know, struggling with something, that they maybe not knowing what they are doing with the tasks that they have assigned right now. So maybe then we can together figure out what to do with this case. Maybe we should change this task, or maybe we need some help of some other person from the team. And I feel that seeing your lead saying openly that he doesn't know makes people at ease from your team, because they also know that they don't need to pretend that they know everything. And as each presentation needs to have some takeaway, you know, something that you can take away, right? I figured this 5 steps of vicious cycle, which you can also call failure circuit, or you can call this is how my brain works. But, you know, let's be professional here. It's a huge conference. So let's call it the big takeaway. So how does this work for me? I'm willing to take on a challenge. There's some challenge. I'm not skilled, obviously, so I'll take it, you know? And what can I do? I intensely prepare myself. I read books, articles, I prepare myself, because if I prepare myself, nothing bad can happen. Then, what happens naturally is brutal reality check, followed by fail. Then I start wondering, what happened? I was so prepared. Denial. It just didn't happen right now, right? But then, hey, there's new challenge that I don't know anything about it. Let's take it, you know? My point is, I was putting most of my pressure on myself doing those intense preparation, kind of fooling myself that if I prepare myself, I can prepare myself for every occasion that might happen, you know? So nothing bad can happen. And it's obvious that you cannot prepare for everything, you know? It's still, you know, you will see some situations that you are not prepared for. But putting lots of pressure on yourself at that point is not a very smart idea. I know it now, but in past, it took really huge toll on myself. Trying to hide it and trying to prepare even more, which was crazy. So after hearing all those stories about how being prepared helps you, and you still want to read something, you can check out those books, each written by authors from different backgrounds. Last one maybe not leadership kind of, but still can help you organize your things and may be helpful. Some people from military background, please, you know, read them with this in mind that we are not in military. I heard some stories of people reading military, you know, leadership books and trying to implement it blindly, you know. We are not at war, we're writing code, you know, making games. That's something different. There are also some podcasts. Also Simon Sinek, Craig Groeschel. This guy is actually a pastor, and he tells about leadership from a growing church perspective. That's really interesting one. You can check this out, but keep that in mind. And there's also Jocko Willink, so back at military stuff. Also, read with distance. We are not at war. And there are also some TED Talks. I listed just 2. We don't have time to watch different things in huge numbers. So The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown, really great. Really old and really great talk. And How Great Leaders Inspire Action. I write about those things on my LinkedIn and Twitter, or X, sorry. I write about imposter syndrome, about problems that you can stumble upon while transitioning from a programmer to lead of programmers, about my struggles, insecurities, and stuff like that. So if you are, you know, hungry after listening to this little piece, you can check me out on my socials. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you a lot. So now we have a few minutes for questions.
Oh, I was afraid that it will happen. Okay.
I'm a producer, and I came here hoping to get some perspective since I work with a lot of leads very closely. So I'm going to ask quite a personal question from my perspective, like when you are cooperating with producers, because a lot of things you said about are kind of on a fence, I think, of responsibility between a lead and a producer. So what's the thing that you feel the producer brings in the most to your work? Like, what is the most helpful thing we can do for you as leads?
Definitely it's my second brain. My second brain is sitting here right now with us and hiding herself. With this amount of meetings that I have and different initiatives that we have, it's really difficult to stay on track with every one of them. So of course I can do it all by myself, sacrificing kind of other things that I can do in terms of managing my team, and scheduling and planning with whom we need to meet next, with what teams in what order, what should we discuss with them, Sometimes I also have input because those are technical matters, and this lies mostly on me. But this kind of organization, this aspect of scheduling things and helping me plan those to then execute accordingly, this is what my producer helps me a lot. And having the second brain, this is also second point of contact. If I'm not available, my producer also can respond to more and more technical questions even, because as we work longer together, my producer is getting more skilled also in this, not to become a programmer per se, but to understand more things and being more independent even. So sometimes questions can be answered without me being on some meeting or something, because I have some other meeting, So I don't know if this answers your question, but this helps me a lot. Yeah.
Hey, Łukasz, thank you for your presentation. It was awesome. I love the geeks.
Thank you.
My question, I'm an Unreal Engine developer. I have 3 years of experience, and my question is more like about technical experience, because my situation is that I actually feel that I'm a good fit for a leader position, because I had experience of managing a programmistic organization. I was implementing feedback policies to create a great atmosphere in the community, I would say. So now at my job, I am taking more responsibilities on leading. For example, I was taking part in recruiting internships, like interns for our company. I'm doing something in this way, but I'm more interested from your perspective. When did you feel like, from technical perspective and technical experience, quite confident that you can guide people, that you have enough experience, and you can, as you mentioned, that the colleagues you have worked with them, that you can now guide them? How this transition happens and how maybe make it faster, because I love speedrun the way.
Yeah, making things faster, it's not that simple. And as I said at the beginning, this scenario didn't happen for me, because it's not like I was working at Techland at the same level with those people and then being promoted, so now to be their lead. I switched companies, and then during this transition, I changed to a leadership position. And it's really difficult to tell when you are ready, because, as I also said, after 3 years, maybe, at Techland, I started having this small feeling that I think kind of I know what I'm doing right now, a little bit. So for me, it's happening slowly, but I'm okay with that. I'm not rushing it anymore. So.
Okay, maybe I also add something is there also people who were deciding on promoting you to the lead position, that they saw? How did they choose you? Because mostly you had this experience. Because now I'm in this position that I'm rushing things. I know that it's maybe not the best thing. I'm trying to be patient, but I'm just waiting for myself when it's a good moment to start negotiating that I would love to jump on the lead position. And how, for example, for you this talk happened? And
for me, it wasn't planned at all. It just happened organically. It wasn't like I was planning that. In CD Projekt, I'm working up until this title, and then I'm moving somewhere where they give me a leadership position. It wasn't the case.
Okay. Yeah,
So I know it doesn't sound helpful, but it truly happened kind of organically. Having my technical background and spending really all of my career working on tools, at some point, taking care of one editor, but it's just some small portion, But you gain experience from those tiny nuggets here and there.
Yeah, that's actually the common thing I hear, that is chaotic and it just can happen. But thank you, it answers the question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for a very great speech. I wanted to
Thanks.
ask, how important do you think it is for you to keep on touch with programming at your position? And how important do you think it is for your team?
For myself, that's what I meant by saying about those things that I still want to assign to myself. But now, without fooling myself that I can, dedicate more time than I actually have on doing something, because then we have problem of not delivering things, because I'm on the meetings here and there, working on different documents, so I don't have like 100% of my time to focus on programming, But this is actually a good question, because if you are not using something or not doing something, you're kind of losing that skill, If you don't speak some language, you're getting worse and worse, as you can hear myself, But that's why I'm happy that we are having those maintenance Mondays, because at that time I'm also trying to grab something for myself, so I can also spend time with code and do something, or work on those bigger refactors that I can do in background, between some meetings, or that nobody waits like currently, and I can work on them slowly, in my pace, so I can stay in touch with the code, so I don't get rusty when it comes to programming, And for my team, I don't understand the second part of the question, because you mean, what does it mean for my team that I code, or?
Do you think it affects your team to see you be active in programming? That's what I meant.
It's a difficult question for me to answer. I think it's a question more to my team than for me, because I would be guessing right now. So I frankly don't know. I don't know. There you have it.
Hey, so what's your biggest takeaway from all of this leadership experience for your next big challenge, say a director role?
That would be a great topic for a presentation, right? Things you don't know about your director. That's I might steal this one. To be honest, it's difficult to say, because that's I think a different type of skills, because when we are moving from a specialist position, so we can speak in general, like not a programming, like if you are a designer or someone, and then you are going upwards and becoming a lead, or some manager of sorts, then you're kind of shifting your perspective. So you are working from bigger distance, to your people, and as a lead, you're still kind of close to them, and you're still working with people. But when I imagine working as a director, is also going even further. So now maybe you're operating on a project level, maybe. So this is I would keep in mind, probably, if this would ever happen. And but for me, I guess it would be another like mind shift again, and of course followed by intense preparations, because if I prepare myself, nothing bad can happen, right? Good question, difficult one.
I have a question. If there is no more questions, if you would agree for me to take a picture of Łukasz with the hall full of you, would that be okay? Okay, so whoever wants to leave, this is now, or
Run
Thank
now
you.
if you want to.